Right, Lime. So, we all would know that all politicians do is use land as a pawn. It's power.
Yeah. Well, I may
It's
honest
about
with you.
power.
They use that same pawn on me.
On you.
Personally. Yeah, I think I told Changing Narrative fans this story before. In 1998, when we won CARICOM, the UDP government at the time decided that they was going to invite us to the government house, invite all the TV cameras in, the media, and so on and so forth. And it's a big old stunt. They brought in my man Randy Brown from the Chicago Bulls at the time, and it was a big old deal at the time, right? And the whole deal was to try to show Belizeans at the time to use us as a pawn because it was an election year in '98. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was election year. They was trying to use us now as saying they was going to give us land in the 8 Mile region on the Western Highway at the time.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? So all of us, all 12 guys on the national team that won the gold medal would have got a piece of land.
Great.
So, man, we was all excited, jubilant about it, man. Like, finally about to get a piece of land, you know what I'm saying? We already put it down for the country, and, it was I felt like it was a great reward at the end of the day that we were getting a piece of land, again, part of the Belizean dream.
Sure.
We got to the whole event, man, and again, we got TV cameras and all this nonsense. We all walked up to try to get a manila envelope.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought there were actually land papers within this manila envelope that Mr. Esquivel called us up, shook our hands, and gave us this envelope.
Right.
Well, we got back to our seats, and we decided to open up the manila envelope, man. It was completely empty. There was nothing in the envelope.
They gave you a
blank envelope. Yeah, on national TV.
So what was the follow-up? Like, did they come back afterwards?
It was a complete sham, man.
So they never circled back, after the ceremony, say, "Hey, now we don't have it."
A little bit after that, the election went down and they lost. And when they lost, it was a wrap. Like, we still haven't got that piece of land yet. You know what I'm saying?
So if it was legitimate, a change of government would not
have done it. Yeah, because most people say we earn it by winning the gold. I ain't say we earn it by because there's no such thing you earn a piece of land. Mm-hmm. But it would have been a great deal if that was the case, where we're not attaching ourselves to one particular party in order to get a piece of land. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happened. Is like this man went out, shook our hand, gave us an envelope. The envelope was blank. You know what I'm saying? And up to this day, we ain't got that piece of land. None of us, none of our guys on that team, not me, not Milt. None of us got land.
And I was going to say, well, you're not there. So maybe the local guys actually
None of them got land, man. I talked to Bart. I talked to all them guys, man. None of them dudes got any land from the whole shebang. You know what I'm saying? And that's what I was trying to explain to the people. I'm not hating on you working with a politician and trying to get, your goals down and getting a piece of land. But trying to understand the big picture. Don't try to put your eggs in one basket. Instead of you putting your time and efforts into one politician, put your efforts into forming a group of people, a group of Belizeans, where y'all whole stake is based on y'all getting a piece of land.
Yeah, but that requires them to purchase it. The problem is Belizean wants free land.
They have to purchase. None of life is free. My point is there's again, I said accessibility. There's ways they can access the land without have to come up with a lump sum of money. Right. You can make purchases. You can put in a lease to own situation where you're paying a small amount every year just to acquire the land over a 30-year period. Right. You don't have to come up with a large sum of money to acquire a piece of land, and that's all I'm saying. But in order to get to that point, I think you need to have organization, because this is something that the people gotta want. The people gotta want to push for that. You just can't have one person here and there talking about this and talking about that, and they're attaching again their fortunes to whichever particular politician. And there's no swipe on any of these politicians, because I'm pretty sure they're using this as something to fight for their constituents and so on and so forth. Mm-hmm. But this is not a political issue.
It shouldn't
be a political issue. This is something
issue.
This is supposed to be something that everyone should be able to have a stake in this matter. And for some reason, because of the whole political nonsense, that's never the case. You know what I'm saying?
Do you think there's a possibility that the lands department could be separate from government in terms of politically The push and pull.
You know what would be what will make sense to solve this issue. The first issue I think they should have done is to make the Senate have more power, and the Senate needs to be independent of the national government. The Senate should not have been a structure where the Senate is appointed by whoever party is in power. If you have an independent Senate that is voted in by the people like any other politician, all right, and have them be the ones who oversees finance and lands and all that stuff, I think it would be a more equitable and a more equally distributed process.
Correct.
But because everything is, our political system is based on winner takes all, and once winner takes all, the rest who lost pretty much will stay losers for the next 4 years. It's not working out for the people who have been losing, and whoever wins again will continue that tradition.
And it's always the Belizean people losing. And
the Belizean the whole lose, and that's what I'm saying. Belizean, because if the other side think that their people will not come in and do the exact same thing, they are sadly mistaken, and they fell for the okie doke again. You know what I mean? Or when they say Belize, that bokut. You know what I'm saying? Straight up. So they need to start understand what's going on a larger scale and stop this bickering, stop the back and forth, and stop going after each other, go at each other's necks. We are all Belizeans, man. But no one wants to tell them this. No one wants to emphasize that. You would think that this whole COVID-19 situation will bring us together and let us understand what's important.
Right.
What are the important things? Politicians and politics is not an essential.
Right.
Your people in general are the people that you depend on, the regular folks, man. And those are the people who are, to me, should have stake in whether or not they should get a piece of land and so on and so forth within our community. You know what I'm saying?
We are just so, as a culture, we are so much about the status quo that it is hard to get other things accomplished. Even in times like this, when you think a lot of people are realizing what's important and what's not.
Right.
It's still hard for a country to just come together. We're just divided about everything.
And I kind of slightly disagree with you. I think it's hard because these people make it hard. What's so hard about us organizing and demanding a piece of demanding that land is equally distributed?
We
need
leaders
the land
to
is
do
accessible
it.
to the.
That's
but that's my point. The
leaders.
people of Belize have the power.
I'm talking within the people. We need leaders within our society, within our community, who's going to be another Nigel, what's his name? Patello, who's going to say, look, man, we need more than one person fighting for it.
We do. You know what I'm saying? But again, it's like the politician has such a grip on a huge segment of the population that, going back to what we was talking about, that in the situation with us, we made a comment to one of our colleagues, you know what I mean, who was trying to fight for their constituents, but people that we know are going after us for saying the obvious, you know what I mean, because they're so attached to being, they feel like they're going to get some out of the situation, so they're going to fight tooth and nail just to defend that idea that they're going to get something, you know what I mean, but what if they don't? Then what? You know what I mean, it's like they set themselves up for failure. When they get failure, then they're mad at the world for it.
Right.
When there are better approaches to do something, and that's all we're trying to say. Nobody cares who get piece of land. I think we all should get piece of land.
But that shows our division again as a people. Where as soon as you say the obvious, people are like, "Oh, you hating?
Yeah.
You must have. So now you don't want me to have." Again, it's just testament to our division as a country.
But that's something that understand. That's something that's been sold to us from the day we got independence, man. That's what I'm saying. It's embedded into the society. It's embedded into our mindset. The problem that we have is that we got to change the psyche of the people. Because a lot of people in Belize, believe it or not, they feel hopeless on the situation. They feel like there's no way other than doing it the way we're, attaching themselves to a political party. And I'm trying to, I can beg and tell them all day that that's not the only way.
Right.
But it will take some action from you and people in the community, and until you decided that that's what you really want to do, then the results will be the same. You can't expect things to just fall in your lap, man. That people can understand that you got to fight and scratch and crawl for whatever that you need out of life, and that's one of the things that I got coming out of the Mesopotamian area. If I would have just followed the status quo, you know what I mean, I probably would have been another dead duck. You know what I'm saying? Another statistic.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And that's the mind frame you got to got with anything that you want out of life. You got to go out there and organize and do what you got to do to get what you need to get. You know what I mean? But attaching yourself to a political, to a whichever political party to get in regards to land and so forth is not the right way to do it. You know what I'm saying?
Not at all. I think it starts with a little bit of transparency and educating us. And you asked me earlier, well, if there's no one, let's say you haven't identified someone who's selling a piece of land, how do you go about getting a piece of land? I can't really answer that question. And how much do you want to bet? Majority of Belizeans can't either. It starts from a transparency perspective of let's find out.
And that's great. And that's to be your first start.
You know,
the first start for the people of Belize is what are the steps that you need to take to get a piece of land?
How do we do it?
And if there are those steps even manageable or attainable for anyone in your community to actually go about getting those land.
And if
that is not the case, then you go ahead to the ballot box and you demand that they change those laws and those reasons in regards to how you can get a piece of land. Once that is changed, then you go about getting your piece of land either to, again, the lease to own and so forth and make it accessible for you. But that's the hard way of doing things. The easy way, I'm going to attach myself to such and such, politician A or politician B, win or lose. Hey man, it's a crapshoot anyways.
Yeah, it's just the risk of failure is so high with that.
It's just silly, man.
It just doesn't make sense to do.
It doesn't make sense at all. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. But hey, I mean, if they like it, I love it. You know what I'm saying? It is what it is. Well, but you know, I mean, we'll end up by just saying, man, we truly believe that Belizeans should acquire a piece of land. That's the first step of acquiring wealth. And you also need education on what you do once you acquire a piece of land. You know, because a lot of Belizeans are also selling their land. Listen, man. You should never sell your land. You should take your piece of land and try to either develop it for farming or if you want to do anything with it. If you're short of cash, is to lease it.
Yeah.
You don't have to sell your land. There's this thing going around where they feel like as soon as they run into trouble with money, I'm gonna go ahead and sell out my land in the country to foreigners and so on and so forth.
That's one of your most valuable assets.
Exactly.
On to that.
You know what I'm saying? So not only that, you got to know how to acquire the land, you got to know education, how to keeping the land and keeping it in your family for generations, man, because it's actual wealth.
That's right.